So yeah, the next chapter of my Mormon studies. I tell you what, this Mormon stuff, this would make an awesome TV show. Um, it's like Days of Our Lives and The Young and the Restless and all that. So you got like Smith. He's got a mate there called Cowdery. And they call them like the witnesses. These guys are like gangsters in their day. They would have been a bit gangstery, I reckon. Um, so Cowdery met Joseph a year and a day before officially founding the Church of Christ or Latter Day Saints or whatever. He now received golden plates containing ancient Reformed Egyptian writings. So, I don't know how many people try to stay away from Egyptian writings. I don't know if it says it here, but they said they used Egyptian writings because it took up less space than Hebrew. that was that's what they actually quoted, because it uses less space than Hebrew. Well, so does Paleo Hebrew, but whatever. Cowdery told Smith that he had seen golden plates in a vision before the two had met. Um, Before meeting Cowdery, Smith had virtually stopped translating after the first 116 pages had been lost by Barton Harris. Working with Cowdery, however, Smith completed the manuscript of what would become the Book of Mormon between April and June, what Mr. Bush later called a burst of rapid-fire translation. Cowdery also unsuccessfully attempted to translate part of the Book of Mormon by himself. So they basically made it up. They just made up the last bit. There you go, finish the book. Cowdery and Smith reported they received an Aaronic priesthood from the resurrected John the Baptist, after which they baptized each other. So John the Baptist didn't baptize these guys. They baptized themselves, and they received the Aaronic priesthood. All right, so they got the Aaronic priesthood, and they baptized each other themselves in in that Susquehanna River, whatever. Cowdery said he and Smith later went in the forest and prayed until a glorious light encircled us, and we arose in the candlelight. 3 persons stood before us, dressed in white, their faces beaming with glory. One of the 3 announced that he was Apostle Peter. So this is just after they've just been baptized, the Aaronic priesthood, ironic priesthood, by John the Baptist. And now Peter's rocked up, and James and John, and now they're getting the Melchizedek priesthood. Woo! That's a bit of a step up, isn't it? Later that year, Cowdery reported he shared a vision along with Smith and David, in which the angel bestowed the golden plates. Harris said with a similar vision later that day. That's pretty lucky. Cowdery Harris signed a statement of that effect and became known as the 3 Witnesses. 3 amigos. Where are we? So. Oh yeah, then they're sort of arguing over who's going to be what elders. So I'm thinking Cowdery is not as smart as this other fella, Whitmire. So they put Whitmire as second authority. So there's probably some good arguing going on there. Smith, spokesman and counsellor for the first presidency, began to supplant Cowdery as early as 1831. Cowdery held the position as assistant president of the church until his excommunication. That excommunication, by the way, was when they all went out on arms against Smith because he's little playing with children and kiddie stuff that he's been doing. And he was also a member of the first President Council High Church organised Kirtland. Cowdery married Elizabeth Ann Whitmire, so that's his mate, Peter Whitmire. They had 6 children, right? Get this, of David. They had 6 children, of whom only 1 daughter survived to maturity. So these people who like kiddies, that's a bit unusual for that amount of kids to only 1 survive. Like there's a lot of Christians around in those days, right? So there's a lot of people to look after you, and I don't see things as hard as what they would have you believe. Cowdery helped Smith publish a series of revelations, first called the Book of Commandments, and later as revised and expanded. So yeah, they've changed it up a bit. Doctrine and Covenants. He also was the editor of the editorial board. Early church publications, including Evening and Morning Star, Messenger and Advocate, and Northern Times. Now, when the church created a bank known as the Kirtland Safety Society, that sounds very safe, Cowdery obtained money printing plates sent by Smith. He became president of the Bank of Monroe, in which the church had controlling interest. Both banks failed the same year. Someone partying with the money, were they? Cowdery moved to the newly founded Latter-day Saint settlement, far west Missouri, after suffering ill health in the winter. So, yeah, like I said, you guys got to study this. Like these guys are just gangsters. You imagine this? They've found a way to make money, and now they're going to start banks. Like what sort of prophet has the first idea? I'm going to start a bank. Yay! Let's get a bank happening. Yeah, so these guys are cool. They're on the ball. They know what they're doing. Some of them sound a bit pretty. They realise what they've fallen into. They've found some decent money, and they knew they were going to make lots of money. That's why they were getting a bank going. All right. God bless.